Now, if you want your blog to rank on Google, updating old blog posts is actually just as important as publishing new ones. But what do you actually do when you make an update? Well, in this video, I'm giving you the exact framework so that you know when to update your blog post. Then I'll give you my 10-step content updating checklist. We'll cover how to update affiliate articles to increase revenue and a lot more. But before we get started, I want to invite you to watch my free masterclass, 80 minutes of free training on how to start a blog. Make sure to click the link in the description below, and let's get into the topic for today. So first we have to talk about when is it actually time to update a blog post. What do we look for? Well, think about freshness when updating your blog post. So what I mean by freshness is how recent have other articles also been updated as well. And what you want to do is Google your keyword. So Google your individual keyword for your article and look at the timestamps of like the top 10 ranking sites. Look at the dates and see what they are. You know, are they 6 months ago, a year ago, a week ago? Look for that, and you basically want to be in the top 75th percentile for freshness. So what do I mean by that is you don't need to be the newest article. You don't need, but you definitely don't want to be like the oldest article. You want to be in the top 75% and maintain that over time. So based on your niche, then you can develop a content updating timeline. Now, every niche is a little bit different. You might see something in Google like the best credit cards and see that a lot of them have the actual month in the title of the article. So they're updating them every single month, making big updates, small updates, and they're updated a lot. Whereas other articles might not need to be updated that frequently. Something like how to bake a cake hasn't really changed in a long time. It just really depends on the keyword based on that, but you need to develop a content updating timeline. So then the question becomes, when do we do this? Do we do one big update a year? Do we do like 4 or 6 small updates throughout the year? So this is really kind of niche dependent, but I tend to lean to the side of 4 small updates a year. That way you're staying more in that 75th percentile. It's all about time. So you have to really scope the time it will take per update. So doing a huge overhaul update once a year could take you 6 hours, or you could spend like 1 hour quarterly and do a smaller update, making sure that you add the right content, 250 words of new content, add things that we'll cover in this video. But here's how to prioritize it when you think about it. So really this goes back to revenue, what will actually make you the most money. Think about it, if it's ranking on pages 1 through 3, that has a much higher revenue potential for you to actually update that post than something that's on page 6 or 7 that might not ever rank, right? So we have to stack rank it this way. Also, if you're ranking on page 1 or even you're ranking number 1, but your article hasn't been updated in like a year, you should still update that article to maintain your rankings. You don't want to not update it and then continue to eventually drop down the rankings. So don't be scared of updating things that are ranking well. Again, we want high revenue potential, so articles that can make us a lot of money. So that could be transactional affiliate articles around the best products, those types of keywords, or even high traffic ideas posts or how-to posts. So I've had some like, around different business ideas that get a ton of traffic. They're updated quite frequently, so I wanted to update those as well. We also have to talk about updating versus skip or delete 404. So sometimes articles just aren't needed to be updated. Like sometimes they might not even be good for your website in general. So sometimes in your niche, you may find that, this article isn't quite related to all these other ones. It's never going to rank. It's on page 10. I should probably delete this one rather than update it. So you also have to kind of take that into account. If it's pulling your topical authority in the wrong direction, if it's not fitting in with your other content strategy and it's not ranking, maybe it's best to actually delete that rather than update it. And just think about when was the last update, obviously. So I looked at my old sitemap and I can see that I had articles from, probably 9 months that hadn't been updated in about 9 months. But you can go through your sitemap, pull it up, and look and see the last update date on every single post. And then maybe you go through and look at based on which ones are important to you, which ones could make money, which ones are oldest that haven't been updated in a while, base it on that. So listen, updating your blog post is critical to maintaining and improving your rankings on Google, and you need to be doing it regularly. So you could do it the old way, rewrite every single post yourself from scratch, or you can leverage some AI tools to improve your posts in a fraction of the time with our sponsor, and that is HubSpot's free AI content writer. So with a few simple prompts, you can generate better headlines, intro copy, reorganize your content structure, or get an entire article rewritten in just a few minutes. So with HubSpot, you can leverage AI to do the initial update, and then you can go over it and edit it yourself, but it can save you a ton of time in the process. So if you're interested in getting started, make sure to click the HubSpot link in the description below for HubSpot's free AI content writer. It's a lot better than ChatGPT and is great for bloggers. All right, so let's talk about the 10-step content updating framework. So this is what you should go through. You have your article, you know which one you want to update. What are we actually going to do? Well, number one, first you have to optimize the on-page SEO. This should technically already be done from the very beginning, but if it hasn't been done properly, you can always improve it and make it better. So this is things like the length, the image count, semantic keywords, using something like Surfer SEO to optimize those scores. So if you look at an article like this one I created, it was just called How to Make Money with AI. I actually used Surfer AI credit to make it, but you can see the content score is 73. The words are good. It could use more headings. It could use more images, and it could use more semantically related keywords. So you could go through, maybe I increased the score from 73 to like 80 based on adding some more interesting semantic keywords. All of this SEO stuff, this on-page optimization, you know, it's important, but it's also not the most important thing in these updates. So we'll cover it. But, you know, we want to have more headings, more paragraphs, more images is really important. A lot of, you know, blocking it out with more images can really be helpful. But you just want to optimize with something like Surfer SEO, especially if you haven't already. This would be number one on the list. Next, we need to do a grammar check. So number 2 is that. So that's checking for plagiarism, grammar, spelling mistakes, punctuation, all of that. So again, this should probably already have been done in your first publish date. That's why we have what I, you know, coined the content assembly line, where on-page SEO and grammar and all that stuff should be figured out already. However, if you haven't yet, definitely use a tool like Grammarly. So here's an article, an older article of mine on affiliate marketing, but you can see Grammarly is a free tool. There are paid options, but it's a free tool. You can, you know, get your score to 99 pretty easily by making a lot of suggestions here. But you can see there's correctness errors, clarity, engagement, and delivery. And you can just go through each one and see what some problems are. So for example, I can click on this one here and it says the mistake of following their passion rather than treating them as a business. And some of these, you know, work, some of them don't, but you just want to make sure that you don't have any spelling mistakes, number one, grammar issues, lots of comma issues. We need to make sure that those are, you know, not bogging down our article, because Google can tell if you have a ton of punctuation and spelling mistakes. So it's always good to make sure you check that first. So first, on-page SEO, and then Grammarly. Number 3 on the list is a link audit. So lots of articles have links pointing to them, internal links, external links to reputable sources, all of that. And sometimes web pages change. So you just want to make sure and check that they are good. So first, you can check for broken links. So anything that is 404ing and not working, you know, going to a dead page would be something that you would fix. There's actually Chrome extensions that you can use to find that. Just Google 404 Finder. Internal link checks. So you want to make sure that as you create more content and as you're blogging and writing articles and publishing new stuff, that you're not orphaning or abandoning pages with no links. So maybe there are new internal links that you can add to new pages that you haven't, that didn't exist when you published this article in the first place. You can check the anchor text as well of the internal links, make sure they're good. It's not too overly optimized, but it makes sense. And then external links. So we also want to have, you know, some reputable high DR domain rating articles that are helping our, you know, SEO with helpful statistics, images, posts, things that are really helpful to the article, and you have the right amount of external links as well. So when you look at links, like there's no perfect formula, but a 2,000 word article shouldn't have like 2 links in it, right? We should have a link probably at least for every 200 words in the article. So that would be like 10 links. So what are you linking to? You want to link to yourself early in the article, maybe in the first paragraph, first couple paragraphs. You always want to link, have an internal link in there first. Then you can add in some helpful external links, more internal links down the line. But it's all, you know, link audit. So checking that, making sure there's no broken ones, you know, adding them and optimizing them to make it better. There's a tool called Link Whisper that actually works somewhat well for this. It's a WordPress plugin that kind of gives you link ideas. It tells you which pages are orphaned or abandoned, and it can be quite helpful if you have a WordPress site. Number 4, you want to look at content structure. So what do I mean by that? Well, it's kind of a weird thing. You just want to say, does it pass the eyeball test? And by that, I'm going to show an example of one of our blog coaches, Eddie, with his site, eddiebali.com, how to promote affiliate links. So this one to me passes the eyeball test, what I mean by content structure and formatting, because it's easy on the eyes. So for example, every paragraph is like 1 to 2 sentences max. It's super easy to read, black text on a white background with links at the beginning, and with a nice too long didn't read section, which is really cool. Easy cadence block here. He's got other nice affiliate links over here on the right-hand sidebar. And there's a nice table of contents that you can click down, another cadence block, a main heading, you know, H2 heading here, H3, all kinds of different things, call outs for affiliate links. So there's a good mixture, just kind of passing the eyeball test of headings, text on the page, and images. And you can see these are all unique images because he's added arrows to them. Screenshot plus arrow is a unique image that doesn't exist anywhere else on the internet. And lots of images, lots of good images, lots of content, blocks, headings, different bold text, not bold text. So this to me passes the eyeball test. So what you might find is that on your own blog, maybe you have really long paragraphs, or maybe you haven't broken it up with any images or blocks or things like that. It's just hard to read. So people, especially online, have really short attention spans. So when you're writing for the web, you want it to be engaging, but you also want it to be like interesting, short, right to the point, succinct, you know, lots of images, lots of bullet points to get people engaged. So if someone sees like, you know, 10 sentences per paragraph, they could read it if it's really, really good content, but it makes more sense when you're writing for the web to break it up with all of these different things. So that's kind of how to think about it if your article passes the eyeball test. Next, we have the really, really important human check. So this is, you know, we've optimized it for on-page SEO, grammar, all the technical robotic details of the content structure, website, all of that. Now let's talk about actually improving the storytelling for human beings, which in my opinion might be the most important thing into the future. Future-proofing our SEO strategy is actually making just the best possible content. So the human check is rewriting the intro. So maybe your intro is really boring because that's the first thing that people typically read. They might skim through it, but still, you want the intro to be engaging. And there's a lot of interesting ways you can write intros with different hooks, you know, interesting statistics, ways to engage with people, shock them, surprise them, make them laugh. You know, there's lots of different ways to write intros. But one that I wanted to show is kind of funny is we have one on that we haven't published yet, but it's on bloggrowthengine.com. It's for dad bloggers. So it's kind of an interesting hook, right? So this is the article on dad bloggers. This is when I first heard about dad blogging, I thought, holy shit, count me in. You mean I could write about raising kids, dad jokes, craft beers, guitars, action movie, power tools, and I could get paid for it? I don't even have kids, and I wanted to start one immediately. Forget all the PTSD from my dad firing up the lawnmower at 6 a.m. on a Saturday and saying, my house, my rules, kid. I was in. So the team at Blog Growth Engine, I decided to dive in head first and learn everything we could about dad bloggers. Yada, yada, yada. It tells about what the article is. Okay, dads, you should really consider changing your name, yada, yada. So it's a really well-written, human-based intro that has humor. It has some good writing, you know, different bullet points and things like that. So, you know, you can't really replace good writing. So if you're creating all this on-page content with Surfer SEO and all of these SEO tools and Grammarly, and it looks perfect and it's formatted perfectly, it still might not be that engaging and entertaining from a writing standpoint. So this one's important, especially for the intro. Some topics are really boring, you know, as well. So spice them up if you can. Some of the articles on my blog are somewhat boring, related to like software topics and things that are kind of academic in nature, but you can still make them fun and engaging. And you can use things like Grammarly for this. Just if you're not a great writer, you can still make sure that the sentence structure is good. But writing things and, you know, writing interesting hooks and engaging this stuff for human beings. Because again, when it comes to SEO, the most important ranking factor, the ultimate ranking factor, is ending the search journey. So if somebody clicks on your blog post, but then they go back and they click on another one for that same keyword and they end the search journey there, that site will eventually outrank you. So it's the one ranking factor that you can't really control other than making the best possible content and writing good stuff, writing in a storytelling driven way based on any article and having quality content is what will win out in the long run. Number 6 on the list is accuracy check. So that's just checking for outdated or incorrect information. This is especially important on like those affiliate articles of yours that might have pricing sections or things that are specific to a company. So if it's product related, you need to make sure the pricing is correct. Make sure that the features are new that you're talking about. Maybe a company came out with a new feature that's not in your article yet. There could just be outdated and incorrect info. So maybe you put, 2021, 2022, 2023, older years into the blog post as well. So just checking for accuracy. If you say things, you want to make sure that they're still accurate today. And that's why a lot of the, credit card blog posts are updated so frequently, because points change, offers change. The rates of APR rates change. So think about the rate of change when it comes to your blog posts and articles and keywords, but just check for accuracy and make sure you're good. Next, you do a technical check. So headings, meta description, schema markup. So the main thing I recommend for this is for headings. Make sure that your H2 and H3 headings are optimized. So that typically is you have an introduction, then you have your first H2 heading, which includes the target keyword. So for example, if my keyword is best email marketing software, my first heading should be an H2 that says, what is the best email marketing software? Or you can do a definition paragraph first with an H2 that says, what is email marketing software? Do your definition and then follow up with the best one. But we want to make sure that the H2 headings are in the form of questions, and then H3 are kind of these sub-bullets or answers to those questions. So if I say, what is the best email marketing software as an H2, my H3 headings would be the companies in the list, right? MailChimp, ActiveCampaign, Constant Contact, ConvertKit, however those companies are in the list. So you want to make sure you have a heading check. H2 and H3s are formatted correctly. We teach all of this in Blog Growth Engine and have content templates and formatting for it. Then you want to have a meta description. So it's not that important from SEO standpoint. It's just it's really good for click-through rates because people can see based on your search result what the couple sentences are about your article. So make sure it exists, make sure it's interesting and engaging. You can add some numbers to it, make it pop out a little bit more. Just there's, unique ways to do that, but don't, overthink it. You just want to make sure that it exists and it's unique for every single article. And then schema. So you can add different schema content to your website. So for example, you could add FAQ schema. So if you don't have an FAQ section on your article yet, definitely add one to near the bottom, like right before the summary. You'd add your FAQ section, put your target keyword plus FAQ in the heading, and then you add your questions and answers. And what's nice is lots of different WordPress plugins like Yoast and others have FAQ schema blocks. So you just add a new block, call it FAQ. So we've gotten through a lot so far, lots of SEO, human stuff, accuracy, technical stuff. We're adding this content. None of this takes increasingly too long, right? If we want to take it a step further, what we can do is add what I call link bait assets. So that's things like unique imagery, infographics, and interactive elements. So maybe you add a YouTube video to your articles, linking to a YouTube video or an infographic or imagery or something. So you want to have it, what I call link bait. It's because it's so good and it's so much better than the other articles that people are going to want to link to it. Or it could have an infographic that people are going to naturally link to. So you can see my article here on how to start a blog and make money online. It starts with a YouTube video of me. Learn how to start a blog in 7 easy steps. YouTube video at the beginning, table of contents on the right, set up your blog, choose your niche. If we go all the way down, it's a pretty long article, but we can see that I also added an infographic near the end as well. So there's pictures, there's this, but then we added 11 easy steps to start a blog infographic. It has all kinds of different steps here. Pick a domain. It's very long, different things here, but it goes all the way down the list as an infographic. And you can have, it's created here. And I said, feel free to post this infographic. Just please make sure to add a link back as the source. And I also had a 2020 blogging survey, probably a little bit outdated, but it was actually a survey that I conducted from content marketer. What stage of blogging are you in? What area are you struggling with most? Biggest challenges and takeaways. So that was like a unique study that I added to the article. So, it's still tough to rank for these keywords, but adding interactive elements, infographics you can get done on something like Fiverr, or there's a site called Brandstrong that's really good. They're kind of an outsourced graphic design team for your website. If you have some money to spend, I would recommend them. Or you just get, graphic designer friend, somebody on Fiverr that actually knows what they're doing. That's actually one good use of it potentially, is getting at least templates done. So you have templates for infographics that you could potentially reuse. But, adding interactive elements can be a helpful thing as well. Number 9. Add at least 250 words of new content. So to make sure that Google at least knows this was an update, we don't want to just, change the date or click update and then the date changes, right? Last modified date. We don't necessarily need that. Google doesn't really think that's an update. So we want to make sure that the update is long enough to be considered a legitimate update by Google. So adding 250 words of new content is always a good idea. Another interesting thing that you can use is there's a plugin called WP Last Modified Info, and it's a plugin that you can download. And if you haven't had it figured out yet, it changes the last updated date on your specific blog post, like right under the title. So it will say last updated on a specific date. That can be pulled into the search results too. So that can be a little bit tricky detail of blogging, but that's a good plugin to use. And then finally, number 10, the 10th step is to monitor keyword performance with SEO tools. So definitely use like Google Analytics to look at landing pages month over month and see which ones are going up, which ones are going down. You can use Google Search Console to see your rankings for specific keywords and articles. You can also use Ahrefs to monitor keyword performance. You just want to make sure that you're actually improving your rankings and just have a general gauge of performance using SEO tools. Next, let's cover updating affiliate blog posts. So these are ones that would be product reviews making affiliate revenue, best of posts in a specific format. So again, we want to check and make sure that the reviews are actually accurate. So we're looking at pricing, looking at features, just checking that stuff quickly. Audit if you need to change the order of companies. So oftentimes we have these 7 best SEO tools. It's like, are they still the 7 best? Are they in the right order? Is number 1, 2, and 3, does that make sense today? Maybe it did a year ago, but does it today? And this can be based on affiliate revenue. It can be based on new updates, which one's actually best. Just making sure that the order is accurate. And you can always copy and paste sections to change the orders. Add your own human take on product reviews. This is going to be more and more important in the future as well. You know, putting your own spin on things is really a thing that you have to do now. It's really hard based on, you know, the Google product review update to just take a bunch of info from the internet, from other sites, paste it in. You're not really adding to the conversation. So add to the conversation with your own human and unique take on the products. You can also add more supplemental info. So that could be FAQs underneath or more headings underneath the main product sections. So you could have, you know, for example, what are the best SEO tools? You name all 7 of them with the H3 headings. Then you finish that. You could say, other headings you could add. What are the benefits of SEO tools? How do you use SEO tools? There's lots of other headings and things that you can add to the article, plus an FAQ, then a summary. So that's kind of, you know, in the updating framework that we teach in Blog Growth Engine. So remember, a blog is an infinitely updatable asset, and you just keep adding and building to it and improving it. And then you can also do an H1 title analysis and a monthly, yearly update. So maybe your H1 titles aren't that engaging. They're not getting, your click-through rates are low. So you can, you know, look at that. You also want to, you know, if you are in a really competitive niche, you could change the title every single month. The best, you know, tools of August 2023. You can do a yearly update too. Like typically by November, you know, late, you know, sometime in November, you could change all of your yearly titles to the next year, being about a month and a half ahead of it. Now, a few other notes on content updates. Try to avoid adding the year all over the place. Like you should have it in the H1 title potentially, but if you add years into the content itself, then you're gonna have to Control F and find all these years and edit them and change them every single year. So it makes more work for yourself. So now sometimes the post does not need an update. It needs something else. That's either topical authority or backlinks. Now, also what you should have for this is a standard operating procedure. So this is something like Google Sheets where you can have a content updating timeline. So you can look at, this is the articles we're updating this month. Here's all the things that we're doing in this article each month, and go from there. So really you want to look at this on a month by month basis. You don't want to really plan 6 months ahead, but I think every month, each month looking at it, engaging, like seeing what needs to be updated, and then, you know, you can pivot and make changes as you go. Now remember, this is about revenue, not just traffic. So yes, we can update old articles, get a little bit more traffic, but if it's never going to make us any money, then we shouldn't update it in the first place. So we want to drive revenue through our business through ad revenue, high volume informational content, affiliate revenue with these transactional best of posts. But again, updates should always tie back to not just traffic, but revenue. People love to talk about getting more traffic with updates. Get traffic, traffic, traffic. But traffic is not a business. A business is one that actually makes money. So engaging and seeing which ones will make you the most money, transactional posts, affiliate revenue, all of that. So if you're interested in learning more exactly how to create this content, rank it, make affiliate revenue, make sure to click the link in the description below. Sign up for our free masterclass, 80 minutes of free training. Just put your email in, you're good to go. Thousands of students have gone through it. Let me know what you think. Do you have any questions on content updates? Please like this video for the algorithm. Check out other videos on my channel, and I will see you in the next video.